Okay, verses 9 through 12. Now, about your love for one another, we do not need to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love each other. And in fact, you do love all of God's family throughout Macedonia. Yet we urge you, brothers and sisters, to do so more and more, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. You should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody. So now we have more instructions on godly living. And he says that we need to love one another more and more. He says we need to be more and more sanctified, and now he says we need to love more and more. What does this teach us about loving one another? It's continual and progressive. Okay? It's continual and progressive. We are always to love, and we don't do it perfectly. So we're to grow in love. We should be loving one another better in 2024 than we are in 2023. Okay? In this church, those of us who have been here over a span of several years, we should be able to look and say, yeah, our church is more loving now than it was. And next year, we better be able to say our church is more loving now than it was. 2 years, more loving now than it was. 3 years, more loving now than it was. Hey, it's got to be a growing thing, a progressing thing. If not, then we are quenching the Holy Spirit somewhere. So Paul says here, he says that we are taught to love each other by God. How did God teach us to love each other? Okay, how do we know that? Yeah, because of Jesus. Yeah. Love is always sacrificial. Always. And so, we can think that we're loving one another, but if we're not sacrificing for one another, we're just being nice. Love is always sacrificial. And then Paul says here, he says we should make it our goal to live quiet lives. And that just means don't be a troublemaker. Don't stir things up. He says instead, focus on working hard so that you win the respect of outsiders and so that you provide for yourself. Now remember that, this idea of providing for yourself, because over the next few weeks we're going to see that, because that becomes an issue in this Thessalonian church.